does looks purposeful and like he never looks like he's trying to set up a spot. To me, that was the best part of that North American title match that him, Solo, and Cameron Grimes had. That
Mm-hmm.
even the biggest spots in that match, it never felt like they were trying to set it up. That was always one of my things
That's a good
about
point.
AEW, the Young Bucks specifically, is that when the big spot is coming, you know it's coming, and they take a long time to set it up to the point where you're like, I
It's
would have
hella,
just moved.
hella telegraphed. I
Yeah,
completely agree.
Melo's a guy where like nothing looks telegraphed. He just looks so smooth in the ring.
Yeah.
Um, and I think with a guy like Ricochet, he's one of those guys he can do all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put him in there with a guy like Melo, you're talking about a classic match.
Elevation on both sides.
And then you put him in that rivalry with Melo and Trick, and Ricochet's not the best talker in the world, but what you could have him doing is whooping Trick's ass every time they get in the ring, and then Melo jumping them and they get the advantage and whatever,
Yep.
and whoever goes over there, like Ricochet could go over, but Melo not lose anything
Yeah.
because we all know Ricochet is one of the most talented athletes in that ring.
Yeah.
But
Hands down.
also, you could have Melo go over and strap the rocket to him, which I think that man deserves.
Right. It'll probably happen, man. Like I could see that, especially because as they run out of people to put for Ricochet to get stuff to do, or if they gon' or another person to hold the IC title that's on the main roster right now, him or Cameron Grimes, they make sense as the next lineage up to get in that mix and start fighting for those types of mid card titles.
See,
That in
I
the
think when they
U.S.
call Grimes up, I think that's going to be a slower build because you can't call him up with his current gimmick.
Explain.
His So, do you know the origin of his current gimmick?
Wasn't it Ted DiBiase? I remember like seeing him coming down to
A little
NXT.
bit. His original gimmick was just a country bumpkin.
Which
Just a
I
country
catch.
bumpkin, and he
I
would
can
talk a
catch it in
big
this.
game,
Mm-hmm.
and he would talk a big game, and sometimes he'd back it up, sometimes he wouldn't, but he would always talk.
Mm-hmm.
They left him off TV for a couple of weeks, and he came back, and he cut this promo about how he had invested his money in GameStop
Ah, it's hilarious.
when the stock blew up, and
Yeah, that's
he
funny.
hit a lick essentially. So he went from being the hillbilly to the Beverly Hillbillies.
Good job, creative. That was
Yeah,
easy.
one of the best easy
Yeah,
gimmick flips ever.
yeah.
Um, but again, for him, like for that gimmick, it was a story being told on NXT. I don't know if you can call that directly up to the main roster. I think they might flip him back to his original. So I think that might be a slower build.
Or maybe like I mean you can I don't know if they gonna end this awful gimmick, but the whole Happy Corbin Madcap Moss, I think that came to an end. I know I didn't watch that match. I'm sure you didn't either at Backlash.
No.
Um,
And I like Matt Cat Moss. I think he's very talented.
yeah, he's talented, and Corbin he does his job because I can't stand him, and he's been a
Corbin's
heel,
Corbin's good
so
at his job.
he does his job. So maybe I mean, I'm gonna book the territory out here. You could bring it up to where maybe you have a battle of the rich assholes. You got Cameron Grimes who
Okay.
came into money, and you got Happy Corbin who won all this casino money and just can't lose.
I wouldn't be
Um,
mad at that.
and then maybe bring back Ted DiBiase into the fold and have him fight over the $1 million title again. Because didn't
Okay.
Cameron Grimes win that or no? And that because
Yeah,
it
he
was
won it off at LA Knight in their blow off match.
that's who it was. Okay, that's correct. I couldn't remember who he had that beef. I just remember reading about Ted DiBiase and Cameron Grimes doing like that thing for the $1 million title. So maybe you can do that. But
Yeah.
I think it like to your point, I think it makes more sense for him to come in without that. But if they did and they're still doing the Happy Corbin thing, that's the only place it could
There's a
go.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only
There.
place it could
There is a way. This is the way, as the Mandalorian would say.
go.
Or Johnny Gargano.
There you go. Same
Shout out to
person.
Johnny G. Johnny Gargano would be very happy for you to hear you say that he's the Mandalorian, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure he would be. I know. I know he's a Star Wars nerd. That's
Huge.
Cleveland, man, and there's a connection through to Johnny Gargano. I have to tell you about as a coworker I have is a neighbor of his parents. As
Oh,
far as
okay.
so I have a coworker that knows Johnny. He sat down with him. He's shown him his action figures. Like he saw him when Johnny's action figure first came out. That's when like he was back and forth in Cleveland with him. And I should say this is a former coworker. I don't work with him anymore, so I don't hear about it a lot. But yeah, my coworkers or former coworkers like in-laws
Mm-hmm.
lived next to Johnny's parents, and when Johnny would come home, they would somehow like connect. Sometimes it would be pretty dope, pretty dope. But
That's
yeah,
dope. That's
always
dope.
got to support the Cleveland man. You know what it is, 216 all day.
I'm just a Johnny Wrestling guy. Just huge Johnny Wrestling guy.
Fair enough.
All right. Since J-Mo left us, I'm assuming, he didn't pay his internet bill or something. Anything else you want to get into, BA, before we get up out of here?
Wrestling wise, nah, man, it was crappy getting beat down in NXT parking lot last week after getting out of sensitivity training, but we here now. I was
Hopefully
just,
E-Ray will be back next week. Hopefully
yeah,
J-Mo will
man.
figure out his internet next week.
Exactly, man. Spectrum, hook the man up. AT&T, somebody, Wild Cable, whoever, help that
Wow,
man
cable,
out.
there it is.
Right, right. But yeah, nothing really to get into, man. Happy to just have so much good wrestling like that. You can even AEW did a great job this week with there. It's rare that we can throw flowers at AEW and the WWE for what they're doing right now. So I think as we leave the show, I think we should applaud wrestling right now because we're not just shitting on everything. We're being positive, and that's hard to do in the business these days, especially with us smart marks, as we like to be called. So yeah,
Facts.
yeah, man.
All right, BA, drop the social on them. Let them know where they can find you.
They can find me running the show pod or the show page pod on Twitter at Let Me Book Pod. And we also have an IG which I don't run, but I believe you have that for the people as well, Dub. Outside of that, you can also catch me and J-Mo and our homie D Wood on I-71 Fast Break. We got a new episode dropping next week. And then also, I'm going to start pubbing my brother's hemp wrap business. My brother owns a hemp wrap business. So for those of us that like to get down on the cannabis, he has a blunt wrap company called D's Blunts. That's DEEZ BLUNTZ. So go follow my brother's company on Instagram at D's Blunts _apparel. And then if you are interested in any other products, go check them out at thesbluntraps.co. So yeah, they got all sorts of stuff outside of just wraps. They have trays and all sorts of dope apparel. I'm wearing a hat right now. It's flipped backwards, but like Dub reminded me earlier, this isn't a video pod, so who cares? So yes, you'll hear me pub my brother's company and our pods every week moving forward. But that's what I got going on right now, Dub. What about you, my friend? What you got to
Weren't
plug?
you on the latest episode of Binge Flicks and Chill?
Oh my God, E-Ray, you gonna
Come on.
murder me when you hear this. How terrible. Yes, I was just recently on the most recent episode of Binge Flicks and Chill with our illustrious co-host here, E-Ray. We talked about the episode, or we talked about the show Euphoria, all the twisty roads that show can get in and out of. So if you already listening to us here, you think we're pretty funny. We get some good jokes in on that as well. So
Yeah, go listen to them talk about teenagers having sex.
You can only imagine how raunchy that is, considering we somehow go that route here every episode without it even being justified. So just imagine if it was justified, folks. But yes, thank you for that reminder, Dub, on that episode. It's just doing
That's what
too
I'm here
much
for.
these days, man. I'm doing entirely too much.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah, man.
And as for me, you guys know, every Tuesday, me and my homie John on Embrace the Turn Up, we talking our shit. This coming Tuesday, we're going to talk a lot about this Kendrick Lamar album coming out. And
Great
the
first
Lion
track
schedule
release,
just
by
came
the way.
out.
Great
Oh,
first
yeah.
track release, man. I love that
Oh,
video. The Kendrick
We're going
drop.
to talk about the Lions schedule release. I looked at it. I got them winning 10 games. I might
Whoa,
be,
that's
I might
hella
be
wreck.
losing.
You sound like you drinking Lake Erie water, my friend. That sounds like something you hear on our podcast on I-71 Fast Break. That much optimism, blind optimism. But
Yeah.
hey, teach their own.
Blind faith, baby. It's kind of one of my superpowers.
You gotta have it, man.
Other than that, you can find me at ADUB1220 on IG, on Twitter. I'm here getting these jokes off and thirsting after Nikita Lyons and Electra Lopez. pretty much on the daily. Um,
As
if
you
you
should.
just, if you catch me on Twitter, just responding to some random girls' tweets, mind your own business.
No,
I'm
just keep it
I'm
moving.
shooting shots.
Keep moving your
I'm a
thumb up.
volume shooter out here. You know what I'm saying? Volume shooter.
That's how. Hey, man, repetitions. That's how it counts. That's how you get
You
better.
know. You know. Follow E-Ray at E-Ray the bad guy on Twitter. I think is his Twitter handle.
It's
Follow
underscore.
JMO at Y2JMO.
Yes. Our
Um,
illustrious co-host that got kicked out of here because of his sensitivity wasn't meeting the
yeah,
algorithms.
JMO's gonna go to sensitivity training for the rest of the week.
I,
E-Ray's gonna make a full recovery and be back talking cash shit. He's probably gonna heal off on us. You know that, right?
oh, 100%. Especially because
Yeah.
I almost forgot about the podcast we literally just recorded earlier this week. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna get shit for it, but it's well deserved.
E-Ray's gonna heal off on us.
I'll take that L. But that's cool though. But I mean, that's what he's here for, man. You gotta have that heel vibe. And since J Mo left, and he's usually bringing the heel vibes, somebody got to. So I get
You're
it.
right.
Yeah, man.
First time in my life I've ever been the babyface of anything.
This is why it's recorded. You can put it. It's up forever, man.
Facts.
Always point at it. Always point at
So
this
you
moment.
tell me like next time a girl tells me I'm being a terrible person, I can say I'm not always a terrible person.
Yeah,
And turn on my wrestling pod.
Yeah, exactly. Come check out the episode we recorded on May 12th of 2022.
I don't know if that'll go over well, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try
Hey
it.
man, shoot or shoot, right?
Shoot or shoot. Until next time, guys. Remember that wrestling is everything, and everything is wrestling. Until next time, just go enjoy some fucking wrestling, and
Just
just
do
too
it,
sweet
man.
me when you see me.
Peace.